All right. Thank y'all for joining. We are going to talk about how to lose weight after menopause. And it's not really just losing weight, it's losing body fat, getting stronger, and being the best version of ourselves. So, my name is Angel Falk, the fitness angel, and I am so excited because I have overcome a brain tumor and God got me through that. And then we moved and went through menopause and got depressed and all the weight came on and God showed me how to lose the weight. I really give God all the glory. I did a lot of reading and listening to doctors and books and webinars and things like that. And I know that this five simple steps really works. It really helps. It's just five simple steps. And I'm going to go through that and I'm going to share something at the end special that I'm doing. So hang on to the end and listen. And then there will be a Q&A at the end if you have any questions. And I have some amazing testimonials. I can't wait for you to hear some of the ladies that have done the program or still in the program and are just getting great results. So it's not just me. So, and I see Elizabeth hopping on. Welcome, Elizabeth. So, really, my story starts. I've been into fitness for 30 years. So, I was teaching fitness, doing great. And then in 2006, I started losing hearing. And then that led me down the road with a doctor that said, let's just watch and see. Well, it got worse and worse, and I went completely deaf. We got an MRI, and I found out I had the brain tumor. And before this, I really didn't know much at all about nutrition. I just kind of ate to be skinny, a lot of diet foods and things like that. And I was teaching sometimes 15 cardio classes a week. So it was cardio queen. I love exercise, aerobics. Think of Jane Fonda with the leg warmers. That's me. I love all that kind of stuff. Um, but after a 14-hour brain surgery and relearning to walk and talk and swallow and all of those things, finally recovered. Thank God. I have facial paralysis and I still am deaf in one ear. But it's so much better now after surgery and different treatments. God has gotten me through. But I was about 40 years old when all that happened. And then at my 1 year checkup, when things were great, I was back to normal pretty much. The doctors were just so sad. They couldn't believe it had grown again. And I had to do radiation and I got really, really sick. And after that, they just couldn't believe it. And we did another MRI and it had grown again. And we're like, oh my gosh. And there was a friend at church. I didn't know her that well, but we were in the same homeschool group. And she said, I want to do a prayer watch for you. And they prayed every 3 hours. And it was amazing. After 30 days, we did another MRI and it had quit growing. So praise the Lord for that. So I totally believe in the power of prayer. And after recovering, doing better, and thank God I haven't had any more growth. I do have another tumor, but it's super tiny, and we're doing, keeping an eye on that. But that's when I went plant-based and really started digging into nutrition for healing. And I did great on that. Cardio queen, eating salads and smoothies. I was fine with that. And then pandemic hit, we moved, downsized, became empty nesters. My little dogs passed away. I was really in a pit. And that's when menopause kicked in. And I gained 15 pounds. Even though I was kind of eating the same and I was still working out, it wasn't as much because the gyms had closed, but I was teaching on an app. But I was kind of doing the same things. And I didn't understand why all this weight gain. And my daughter had been through something really heavy too and gained weight and then started losing it. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, Mom, I'm counting the calories. You got to know how much you're eating. And I worked as a corporate health coach for Tennessee and Georgia, and I knew this. I knew this. It made perfect sense. I had helped other people do it, but I'd never done it myself. So I thought, you're right. And I started that way. That was kind of my journey. And I didn't realize how many calories I was consuming. I was thinking eat healthy, which is great. You can be eating healthy, but way too much. And I was doing so much cardio that it was causing stress on my body. So that's kind of my journey too. I started digging in how to get my hormones balanced, how to eat, to be lean and healthy and strong and not just eating healthy, but getting overweight. If that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now and go through the 5 steps that I came up with. I started just sharing my journey on Facebook, and people were like, how are you losing all this weight? What are you doing? And that's when I created the program. So I just thought, what am I doing? It's 5 simple steps. And pretty much everybody agrees on this. If you listen to all the Instagram doctors and all those influencers. But menopause weight loss, we know when our bodies change, we have to change. You can't do the same things anymore. So there's me on the left, looking pretty thick. I had gone from 140 to 155, and I was still teaching. There I am teaching spinning. Right now, I would never teach spinning. It's too much stress on the body, too much cardio. Um, and then on the right, I was just in the dressing room buying that white jacket hanging up. That's a whole nother story. I got a story about the white jacket, but I had gotten down to 125 and I never thought I would weigh 125 again. But I put there transformation. It was body, mind, and spirit. Lost 30 pounds in 6 months. It's so much more than just the weight. And Jessica and I talked about that on Facebook Live and Instagram Live today. But the number one thing I had to do was make a decision. And it was like I'd had enough. Have you had enough? I had had enough. I had gotten at my heaviest. I didn't like the way I felt tired. I felt just no energy. And all my clothes were too tight. I couldn't believe it. And are you ready for change? I was ready. Sometimes you're not quite there yet, but I was ready for a change. And then what is your why? My why was I wanted to feel good again. I want to feel more joyful. And I'm hoping my daughter's newly married. One day I'll have grandchildren. I'll be able to go and do things and take them places and feel my best and feel healthy. And I also don't want to get any disease because when you're overweight, it increases your risk for diabetes, heart disease, cancer, pretty much everything. So I wanted to be my healthiest self. And the 5 simple steps, I just wrote them out here. You can screenshot this if you want. But number one, change the workouts. I started doing more strength to build the muscle and less cardio that causes stress. When you strength train, you're building muscle, which helps increase your bone density, which is so important at our age because when you lose your estrogen, you're losing that. And really, about age 30 is when you start losing your muscle mass. And it just gets way worse when you get older. And when you have more muscle, then your metabolism is faster. You have a better metabolism. And so you will actually burn more calories while you're sleeping if you have more muscle. And then number two is the calorie deficit. People don't like to hear that, but you have to consume more calories than you're burning. And I put log food accurately. That was a huge deal when we started using an app. It's so easy to just log your food. And we weigh it. I got a scale for my meat. I love it. It really made a huge, huge difference. And I still do it today. Some people say you don't have to do that forever, weighing your food and logging your food, but I enjoy it. I like having boundaries. So that's just me. But sometimes after you do it so much, you really don't need to anymore because you know. But the calorie deficit, I stayed in until I got to my goal. Now I've upped my calories. Once you reach your goal, you can increase your calories because your metabolism's higher and you're burning more at rest. So that's a whole good learning experience there with it's called reverse dieting, but I have really enjoyed that. And several in the group have already reverse dieted, lost the weight, and then they can add more calories. And then number three is the protein goal. This is the next step that people can definitely find challenging, you are really encouraged to eat 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So if you want to weigh 130 pounds, if you could aim for 130 grams of protein a day, it will really help you. Protein, it takes more energy to burn protein when you eat it. So it's like you're consuming less calories, actually, and it helps your body to lean out. So when you're doing the strength training and adding the protein, you're going to build more muscle. And when you're in the calorie deficit, you're losing the body fat. So it works together perfectly. You start looking better, feeling better. And then number four is metabolic switching. That's something that was new to me, but I had heard several people do it and it works. It's when you carb cycle. So carb cycling is when you have some days with low carbs and some days with high carbs. You don't do the same thing all the time, especially when you get perimenopause, menopause, because your body does not want to change. Your brain wants you to stay safe, so it doesn't like it when you try to change. So you have to be very intentional about changing if you want to lose the fat, gain the muscle, and keep your metabolism revved up. And then number five is the fasting schedule. And everybody's different. When I coach women, I want to work with you one on one on this because some people struggle with 12 hours. So we start with that 12 hours, usually 7 to 7. So if you start eating at 7 in the morning, stop at 7 at night, that's a 12-hour eating window. So from 7 at night to 7 in the morning, you're fasting, you're sleeping. So that's a good way to start. And then we increase that. And then we do a certain schedule according to what you want, your goals. And it's usually 5 days of an easy fast, 1 day of a long fast, and 1 day no fasting. And that goes hand in hand with the metabolic switching because we want to keep our body guessing. So that's really it. The 5 simple steps. And then there's, if you want to screenshot that, that's a link to sign up for the coaching. But first, before we end it, I want you to hear these testimonies. So I'm going to stop this and then I'm going to share the special gift that I have for everybody who signs up this month. So, who wants to go first? Let me call on Jennifer. I'll call on Jennifer because she wasn't sure she was going to make it, and I was so excited she could. She's got a senior in high school doing all kinds of fun things.
Yes, I thought I was going to miss because of cross country today, but we made it, so
I'm
it's
going to
good.
try to make it where it's just you. Whoops, what did I do? Eh,
That's
View.
okay.
And that way, speaker. Okay. Yes. Let's see. Is that bigger? There we go. Now you're big. Okay, I'm going to video
Oh,
you with my phone
yay.
while we video here. Okay.
Okay, so I started back in July 1st with Angel, and through Michelle's recommendation or example, so she'll get to talk later too. And I'm perimenopause, so I'm not quite to menopause yet, but I had been putting on some weight and I tried all kinds of stuff and I couldn't quite figure it out. I had a lot of food noise. Like if you look around on the internet or anywhere, it's like, do this and do that. Don't do that, do this. So it was really confusing. And it's like I had the knowledge, but I didn't know how to put it all together. And so Angel has really helped me with getting those all that information together, like she said in those 5 steps, just tracking your calories first and working on your protein and stuff. And it slowly but surely has connected in my brain, and I'm still learning. But since July, I've lost about 13 pounds. So I'm very happy for that. And then I've had more energy, my clothes fit better, things that, you hide in the back of your closet, hoping that you'll eventually wear again. Now I'm able to wear them again. So that's always nice. So it's just been a really, encouraging thing. It's sustainable. I can still enjoy things I want to eat. You just put it in with your calorie count, because 2 weeks into starting was my birthday. And I was like, oh, there's no way I can have cake or do any of that stuff. But Angel's like, just a lot for it and try to hit your other numbers. And sure enough, you can do it. And so it's nice to nothing's ever off the table of what you can eat. You just have to plan for it. Because if you don't, then you're going to fail. And have I messed up days? Most definitely. But you just get back on it and you go, okay, we'll just get it back right today. And then I really enjoy this group because everybody's really encouraging. Angel's the most positive person I've ever met, and she's your biggest cheerleader. But everybody just always encourages each other, and you just have to remember that it's progress, not perfection, and that consistency is the key. And so that's just been the biggest things that I've learned, and I would definitely recommend you join her. So.
Thank you. That was awesome. All right. Let's hear from Michelle since she recommended you or recommended the group to you.
Okay. Well, I would say that this program definitely works. I started in January, and um, since then, about April, is when I had lost about 13 pounds, and I've maintained that ever since. Um, I lost about 5 inches off my hips, about an inch and a half off of my thighs, and my body fat's gone down like 6%. When I started the weight training, I had some shoulder injuries and different things, so I hadn't done much of anything for a while. So I started with threes and fives, and now I'm doing 15s consistently, throw in 20, 25s here and there, and so that it definitely works. And how did I get here? A few years ago, there was a Juice Plus gathering, and Angel was the one presenting, and Jennifer was there also. But that's where I first met Angel. And the thing that I connected most with her was she had a meningioma. I have a meningioma, and mine had been much more recent, which, a meningioma is the brain tumor. And for me, it affected my eye, which I have very little vision in my left eye, but I'm so thankful that, I can see well enough to do everything I need to do. Um, the first of the year, I was in, I would say, probably depression, very much in despair because of my weight. I'm 57 now, went through menopause about age 54, but that wasn't the beginning of my weight issues. Um, when I was a freshman in high school, a friend of my dad came to visit us. We lived in Nebraska. They lived in Wisconsin, which is where my dad grew up. And when I was young, we had a dairy farm. I love livestock. I love especially dairy cows. And so, kind of jokingly, I said, hey, after the school year, can I come up and work for you on the dairy farm? And everybody's, yeah, sure, and laughed and went on. But I got to think about it. In about April or so, I started talking to my parents and like, seriously, could I go up there and work? And they decided that would be good. And during that time, I was sexually molested by the man that I was working for. Mm. And your body reacts to trauma in many different ways. Mine, I packed on weight. And it was also my safety. I thought if I put on more weight, then I would make myself less of a target, which actually made myself more of a target than other things that happened along the way. And it was a very painful experience. But through the grace of God and only Him, I survived. I tried suicide during that time.
Mm.
because I felt so lost and alone, being 750 miles away from home, which if I would have called my dad and told him, he would have been up there in a heartbeat and taken care of things. But I was trying to prove that I could take care of myself and everything was fine. And plus all the shame. Um, Satan loads shame on you, especially when you're a Christian. And it's like, well, you should have known better. You should have got yourself in that position. And what were you thinking? And all that thing. So all that shame and guilt just packed on as weight. And so fast forward, it's been a long journey, but about 2 years ago, my mom went into the nursing home, and she and I are built very similar. And um, she had put on a lot of weight, and I mean, morbidly obese, and to the point that um, she was so heavy that she took a bath one night and could not lift herself out of the bathtub and had a heart attack trying to get out of the bathtub. And um, went to rehab and everything, didn't do much of anything, but convinced them that she could go home, and had several more incidents. The ambulance would have to come and help her get up. And finally, they took her and they admitted her into the nursing home. And so, through all of that, um, I decided that I was not going to put my family through that. And I needed to be in better shape and better health, and not just for my family but for myself, because I want to, you know, I want to be the fun grandma and out playing
Yeah.
baseball and soccer and doing all this stuff with the grandkids, not just sitting on the sidelines watching. And this journey, like Angel said, it's definitely physical. Um, you know, Losing weight, gaining muscle, it's physical. It is mental. You have to change your mindset. And it's been a spiritual journey too.
Hmm.
And so, does the program work? Definitely. Will it change you in ways you haven't expected? Absolutely. So,
Oh, you put tears in my eyes. Thank you so much
um,
for being so vulnerable. All right. All right. Let's move on. That was incredible. Thank you. Thank you. I love everybody has their own story, their own journey, and you never know what someone's gone through. And it's so true about the trauma making you hang on to the weight. I've heard that time and time again from other people too. And I'm just so glad that you're getting all of this because I do want everybody to grow closer in their faith to God. And like you said, the mindset, knowing who you are. And I got to give a shout out to Michelle too. I love that she shares this program with other people and also the way you do the challenges. We had a challenge to show our favorite workout, and she was out chopping wood with an axe. And I was like, yes, girl. It's awesome. All right. All right. How about Cheryl? Are you on? You just had a huge breakthrough too. Can't wait for you to share.
Yeah, I did. I was late jumping on, sorry, because I was finishing the workout. I didn't want
Oh,
to stop
good.
it.
I'm glad you like the workouts.
Yeah. Um, I started back into March, and but it was a long time coming. I had wanted to start the beginning of the year. Um, and for those that don't know Angel that might be on here, and I was like, well, should I join her or not? Um, Angel kept telling me I had some health issues going on with hormonal stuff and different things, and my doctor, was telling me, well, you probably could do it, but maybe not. So when I had a heart to heart with Angel, Angel was like, I don't want you to do it right now. You need to get stronger before you do this, because she didn't want to just benefit.
she wanted to make sure that I benefited and I would able to do the workouts and follow along and do the things so that I could benefit and get everything out of it that I could. So I just really valued Angel for that, because I'm sure there might be other trainers like that, but I haven't encountered very many. And a lot of people is just like, oh yeah, you can just, modify a whole lot or do whatever. But Angel was very concerned and wanted to make sure that I could do the things where I would get the most benefit out. So that was a really key point for me. Um, but the health reasons was because I'm perimenopausal and I've been like that since 35. So it's been 21 years. So that puts me at 56. And it's been a very long, ongoing up and down journey. I would do some things, and my husband's medical. He's Air Force and veteran, and he's medical. So I always knew some things to do, and knew some medical things and nutrition and so forth. But I also, from a very young age, was always taking care of everybody else. I'm one of the oldest of four, and it was always my job to take care of my siblings and my dad, basically. And I've just always done that. I've always taken care of everybody else and not taken care of myself. And when this perimenopause thing hit, it just it continued to have other things happen to where autoimmune disorders started popping up one after the other, and I was having to deal with those also. And one doctor where I currently live finally said, you need to make some changes, or the only option is going to be surgical to try to fix some of these things. And I'm not somebody that's just going to go under the knife. If I can do it, I want to try to put forth the effort to do it myself. So I began the end of March, and I knew in my head, like I said, from some of the knowledge that I already had, it was going to take me at least 6 months to drop 30 pounds. And that was my first major goal. And I've hit 35, and today was 6 months.
Yes.
So I'm very happy about that. And I've gained muscle and lost a lot of inches. I haven't measured my inches yet, but it's to the point where I've had to buy complete clothes, from underclothes to sports bras to regular clothes, and the whole bit. But I've learned so much more about nutrition and weights, and how to progress, from lighter weights at the beginning of the month to go heavier, that the progression really matters. And my big thing is I have an estrogen issue, and so I needed to drop weight because the weight was affecting and pushing the estrogen. And so now that I've lost that weight, I'm really hoping that things change with that. But it's been such an experience. And the ladies in this group, nobody is just in it for themselves. Everybody gets on this chat and everybody shares, as you just saw with Michelle. And we all root for one another. We all pray for one another. And it's something that you learn and keep with you so that this journey can continue, and you can continue to do more and make it be a lifestyle, because it's not always easy. There's life things that happen, and like birthdays, anniversaries, whatever. But if you account for those things that you've learned how to do, you can eat whatever you want. Just make sure that you know, okay, here I ate a little bit more, so here I'm going to do a bit less. And I wasn't ever big on fasting, but I've learned that I can do that. And I
Yeah.
finally hit a 24-hour fast. And I shocked myself. I'm not going to lie. I really did, because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to push through. And it was funny because I even texted Angel, because I was at my grandson's 2-year-old birthday party, and we were down to like the last 20 minutes of my 24-hour fast, and food was served. And I texted Angel and I said, I'm drinking water and I'm trying to socialize because I have 20 minutes. I have to do this. I have to hit this 24 hours. And so I was, just because I was able, to text and stuff, just keep my hands busy and so forth, I was able to push through that. And so I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm stronger than I think. So, but the whole program has been a godsend. And you have to put in the work in order to get the results, but it's worth it.
Ah, you make me so happy. I'm cheering. Yeah, we do hard things. And when we do hard things, what does that do? It makes us more confident then you can do more hard things. And I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. Yes. And I wasn't trying to be a meanie saying you can't be in the group. She had some health issues. Y'all know that. But thank you for saying that. Thank you. All right, Jessica, is she on?
Well, yes.
Okay,
Hey.
good. I'm so glad you got on. We've said a prayer for you and your dad before you got
Oh,
on.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodness, I just all these testimonies blessed me too. And so just thank you everyone who's shared because that just encourages all of us and inspires us. And we all have something, right, in our lives that we are dealing with, and we all just need I just think when there's community, we can hold each other up, we can pray for each other, support each other. And yeah, so I'm just really thankful for this group. But yeah, so where I started, I'm 42 and perimenopausal. Have had some different health issues over the years that I have gone to lots of naturalist doctors and things like that to try to figure out. And that was a bunch of rabbit trails, to be honest. And um, so and I'll get back to that in a minute, but the biggest thing for me is I've known Angel through Juice Plus community. Basically, I had a mutual friend that introduced me to her on Facebook, not in person because we don't live near each other. I'm in Ohio. So we just met recently, actually for the first time. But in December, this past December, I saw her post about the one-on-one coaching, and I just had thought, man, I've done so many things. I've done Taibo in my early years, 20s and 30s. And then I've used the Lose It app to track my calories, never pay attention to macros, did not fast, did not carb cycle, did not do high protein, none of that stuff. I was always starving. I went on Weight Watchers, and all those things worked to a point, but then it got to a point where they no longer worked, or I plateaued and I felt like I just couldn't push through the plateau. It just discouraged me. So then I basically kind of at that point gave up on all those things. And my lowest weight had been about just under 170, like 169.8 or something. That was about 10 years ago. Was my lowest weight since we've been married. When we got married almost 23 years ago, I was 160. And so it's been quite a long journey of being overweight. I mean, I was the kid in gym class in 8th grade or whatever it was when I didn't want anyone to see my weight on the scale because it was so embarrassing. And so it's always been told you're big boned, those kind of things where you're just kind of like, oh well, okay, I guess I'm not ever gonna make it past the I'm not ever gonna get past this. And so I was in December, I was at that point of I'm just going to accept where I am and that's okay. And so I was really to that point of I'm just going to accept this and move on. And then I realized that no, I don't need to accept this. And God brought to me the verse in 1 Corinthians 6, I think it's 19 and 20, that says your body's a temple of the Holy Spirit. And it really just spoke to me that I needed to try again, and I needed to try it different. It needed to be different, and the one-on-one coaching was different for me. Angel really helped me to hone in on those 5 steps. Baby steps, though, not doing all of them at once. The baby steps of do start here, then add this. And every week we'd be adding different things and we'd be tweaking it. I'd be texting her constantly, like asking questions and the mind shift of going from I feel deprived to empowerment and freedom and realizing that I don't have to be in bondage to the emotional eating patterns that I have lived with all these years that got me to this point. I can now take control of what I'm eating with the choices I'm making, and I can make better choices. And changing that, I know a lot of women, they say, well, we're emotional eaters because we're more emotional. But you really can change that mindset, and it's with the power of Christ. I mean, when you have that focal point of putting God first in everything and seeking Him first and His kingdom and His righteousness, He says, delight in the Lord and He'll give you the desires of your heart. And so, honestly, that's where it starts, putting Him first, honoring your body as a temple of the Holy Spirit. And that's really where I was convicted. And that 6 weeks one-on-one coaching really helped me to hone in on the changes that I could make, and personalizing it to me, the macros personalized to me, everything just being real personalized to me was amazing. I don't think that it would have maybe been as beneficial being in the group first. I think the one-on-one was something I really needed first, and I so appreciate that. That was really amazing for me. And so then moving on to the group, I'm one of those I'm more introverted, so I'm like, oh, I don't really need the group. I'm just not as extroverted like that. But I will say that so many others, like Michelle and Cheryl, and everyone that's shared, those stories are so inspirational because they really help to encourage all of us. And I know it's so hard to share your story when you've been through hard things, and we've all been through something hard, but it's hard, it's vulnerable, and it's just, you're like, why would I want to talk about that? But when you do, you realize that you can be a blessing to others because God has blessed you in some way, and He will use every experience that we've been through, for our good, as He says in Romans 8:28. And so I'm just so thankful that He is doing that I'm seeing Him do that, not just in my life, but in everyone's life who's been on here. It is such a faith journey, and you're strengthening your faith muscles. And that is huge because I think it's really where it starts. That's the heart of all of this. And so I love the fact that this was a Christian-based program and that Angel is so full of the Holy Spirit, because that is important to me. And so I think that was probably the number one thing, even though I didn't know Angel at all. I mean, like, I have no idea, but you just know when the Holy Spirit tells you to do something and you obey, you just know. And so I did, and I'm so thankful I did. And so in 9 months, it's been 9 months today, I'm down 45 pounds and 28 and a half inches. My goal was 61.8. So my highest weight was 211.8, and my goal was 150. And I'm just amazed. I'm amazed that in 5 more pounds, I'm going to take a picture, Angel, with a sack of feed on my shoulder and say, I have lost this much weight. I'm just like, my legs are toning. I'm so excited about that. My husband's even like, wow, I see muscle in your legs. Like, it's amazing. I mean, just never thought I would be able to do this. And I am looking to the future I have 6 kids, one's married, and I could have grandbabies in the next couple of years. And I want to be able to not just finish raising my children and have energy, but I want to be with my grandkids. And so, I want that opportunity to be able to, um, again, like so many have already said, I don't want to just sit on the sidelines. I want to be a part of it. I want to definitely be, um, you know, involved with my grandkids and my kids. And I have family members who are going through health issues and can't physically move, like Michelle said, with her mom, having to have someone help her up. I have family members who are going through that. I have family members who have gone through cancer and other diseases because they haven't taken care of themselves. And if I have the power and the ability to make the choices and that God's given me, then I need to do that. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I know that I'm going to lose these next 16, 17 pounds. I know it's going to happen. And my goal would be the end of this year. And I know the app keeps telling me it's going to be like January this year. And I'm like, nope, December 31st. I just keep declaring it. And if it's not, that's okay. It's in God's hands. But I just keep declaring it's December 31st. December 30th. I just keep saying it. And it's really powerful. I made a vision board. I know many of you saw it, but that at first I was like, oh, that's kind of dumb. It's not, because I use it, and I have, daily affirmations, and you're going to screw up. You're going to, like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. But I think Jennifer mentioned, you just get back on it, and you're going to have a treat. You just adjust for it, and you can get the protein in. If you're worried about the protein, you can do it. It's kind of like a puzzle to get all the little macros to fit in, but you can do it. Just challenge yourself and pre-log your food the night before, especially if you're going to go out for ice cream or have a birthday treat or something, whatever a holiday, whatever it is. Just plan your meals the next day. I mean, it's doable, and it's about how much effort you want to put into it. You're going to get it back out. So, and my kids are wanting to eat avocados, and they go on walks with me, and they try to lift my weights, and even my little ones are trying to lift weights. And so you're inspiring those who live with you, who are around you too, and that's powerful. And God's going to use that in their lives to strengthen them and help them in their health journey too, because especially if you have younger people around you, we're inspiring them in their health so that they don't have to walk the same paths that we do. These generational curses of obesity and all these things can be broken in Jesus' name, and we can do that. We can stop that. We have the power, the authority that Jesus gave us. So just do it and just declare it. And I think that's the biggest thing Angels taught me is don't say I will, I am, and just declare it. And that's so true. It's biblical. It really is biblical. And those were things that I was not doing. So I encourage everyone to just take a step out in faith and just do it. Even if you're like, oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming. 61 pounds is overwhelming. It is so overwhelming. I never even thought I would get close. I didn't. I didn't. And now it's like, I know I'm going to. I know I'm going to. So I can't wait to have my body scan tomorrow. I think it's going to be my fourth one tomorrow. So I will post the results on the group page, but I'm really excited because I can see the toning and I'm obviously losing the weight. So I'm just excited to see the results. So yeah, definitely do it. You're worth it. And Jesus even, he says you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You are worth it. So just make the decision and do it.
Amen, sister. I love it. Oh my gosh, that was so good. So, so good. Thank y'all for sharing those stories. So powerful. Let me stop, get us back on the view so we can see everybody gallery. There we go. Yay. That was so incredible. Y'all, I got tears from all of you because I'm thinking, I can't believe I did this. It's not me. I know it's God, but it's like just me starting my journey, and I was in the pit too. I was in the pit. It's not just about the weight, it's all the other junk. The weight is just a symptom. And then just figuring out how to lose it and now sharing it with y'all and hearing your transformations. It really is a transformation. And it's not just body, it's mind and spirit. And that is the best part. Everything I do, I want to glorify God. And I feel like this group is so glorifying to the Lord. Um, so I wanted to tell y'all my special, okay? So I came up with a special because I was reading today about how the holidays are coming and most of us gain 1 or 2 or 3 pounds, and that's not a big deal. But the thing is, we never lose it. It usually compounds. So you gain 3 pounds through the holidays and then you keep gaining and you keep gaining, every time there's some big holiday. And people think that's normal, and it's really not. It's common, but it's not normal. And so I was thinking, as an incentive for October, and y'all know I only take 5 people a month because I want to be able to really give my heart. Um, so for anybody who signs up new in October, if you do the premium one-on-one, you get $100 off. Is that a good gift? It's a good gift. And then if you do the group, you get $100 off your first month. So the group is a 6 month commitment. And most of us, it really takes 6 months to get where you want to be, especially with your mindset. Because, like I said earlier, your brain doesn't want you to lose weight. And even once you lose it, it's not over, y'all. Then you got to maintain it. And of course, you can up your calories and you have a little more wiggle room, but it's still a journey. And it really is a lifelong journey. It's like we're in a battle for our health. You know, it's not easy in this world we live in to be healthy and fit and strong. You have to do hard things. So, $100 off the first month, and then the premium is $100 off because that's just a 6 week. The one-on-one is a 6 week. So that's more for people who want that one-on-one accountability. And because every day we text and we do one phone call a week. And then I don't send a ton of videos and things like that. I pretty much just give you what you need. And then after 6 weeks, you could fly your wings and go, and you got the tools, or you can join the group for a really low price. And then if you want the group, if you want to start with that, it's a 6 month commitment. It's $197 a month. And like I said, you get $100 off that first month. But this is going to include all your workouts. You can work out from home with dumbbells. Sometimes I'll use a stability ball or a booty band, but I always give options if you don't have those. And I know some people just quit going to the gym altogether. And like Michelle, you work out from home. You used to go to a gym, and your husband does it with you. How cool is that? So you can get the whole family doing it. Um, and yeah, so there's meal plans, lots of food. And I feel like I have grown as a coach also. So now when somebody new signs up, I'm able to say, this is what your day would look like with this many calories and this much protein. And I give you ideas. It's really, I want to make it as simple for you as it can be. And the cool thing I like about this too, and Michelle has said this many times, you don't have to buy any supplements or special shakes or special food. It's real food and it's exercise. I mean, it really is. It's the way you do it naturally. And I even had somebody do my 6 weeks. She couldn't be on, but she tried Ozempic, y'all, and it made her sick. And then she lowered her dose and didn't even lose any weight. And that is expensive. Yeah. The 6 week program is 197 a month. No, the 6 week program, I'm sorry. 800 for the 6 week program. But you're going to get $100 off. And then, yeah. So Katie just asked that question. Um, but I think, this is all your workouts. I tell you what your macros are, and everybody's different. I know, like Jessica, we had to tweak it a little bit. But we really start out with just let's get the workouts in, get our activity. We don't want high stress cardio, just activity walking. Y'all see me, I'm always walking, walking, walking. So I'll help you with that. And I like for everybody to know you can start where you're at. If you're only getting 2,000 steps a day, then we'll shoot for 3,000 steps in the next week. I'm not going to say, okay, you got to get 10,000 steps now, and you're used to getting two or three. So we work on it at your pace. And then the group, we do one Zoom call a week. So for people who are more group oriented, starting the group is very, I love the group, of course, but I understand if you just want that one-on-one, I need that accountability daily. Yeah, that's the main difference. Any other questions? These are good to keep them coming.
I just want to say for the people that do one-on-one, they also, what you're saying is they could be part of the group every week as well if they want, or they can kind of wait until they're done with the 6 weeks, either one.
Yeah. Well, I don't really add them to the Facebook group.
Oh, okay, till after.
Yeah, until after because most of the one-on-one we're texting every day.
Oh, got it, got it, got
We
it.
text every day and then one phone call a week or Zoom. And occasionally, if you're local, we can meet up in person. I mean, if that works. But yeah, the one-on-one is more, like I said, it's that accountability every day. And then the group, we do the Zooms instead of the texting every day, it's Zooms. And then we do in the group, I love for everybody to share. Like we do weekly challenges and we share pictures of our food and recipes. And yeah, it's just so uplifting. Whatever your personality is, like Jessica said, she's more of an introvert and just wanted to work one on one, which now, who would have said that she's not an extrovert? I mean, I think you've changed. We do change. We can be a little of both too, for sure. Beverly, do you have any questions?
I don't have Facebook, so if I were to join, what is another way to share? I just don't have social media.
Yeah.
So I
If you
guess
don't
that
want to do social media, do the one-on-one. And then if you want to, when you graduate, you can still do the Zooms and stuff like that.
Mhm.
If you wanted to. Now, I do have one person who swore she would never get on Facebook, but she created an account and didn't tell anybody, and
Mhm.
just so she could be in the group. So you could do that.
Mhm.
You could put it under a fake name, don't do a picture, make it private settings where nobody can send you anything, and then you can join the group if you wanted to do it. Yeah, that's a good question though.
That's a good idea because you don't have to invite anybody, right? But you could still get all,
You could
because
have an account, yeah, and be in
yeah,
a group.
because Angel puts all the recipes and workouts, and then we're posting. So there's a lot of encouragement in that group. So I would yeah, pray about that. But I think just for this group, maybe.
Yeah. And if you didn't do the group, if you do one-on-one on the website, and it's there for anybody who joins group or individual. On the website, I have a members corner and I put all the workouts there too. I have them there and I put them in the Facebook group just to make it easier. And for people who do one-on-one, if you want me to just text it to you the day you're supposed to do it, I can do that too. I want to make it as easy as possible. But there is the members corner with all the food. And I did put the 5 steps on there, going into some more details. So if you need to read, because we need repetition. And you might be working on, say, the protein for 2 weeks and feel like you got it. And then as you move and progress, then you're like, I need to revisit that. So you can always go back and revisit that. So that's there too.
And what's your website? I may
It's
have it, but
yeah, it's thefitnessangel.net. Yeah, thefitnessangel.net. Katie, do you have any more questions? Not
No,
now.
I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Well, y'all can always shoot me a message. But yeah, I take 5 coaching clients a month, and then this $100 is for October. So I hope that's a blessing. And the reason I wanted to do it is because I was thinking today while we were on Facebook Live how good God has been to me. Because I've got my book. Y'all see my book? It's called Praise Through the Pain. And it really stems from the first sermon series I remember as a new Christian was on praise. And praise is warfare. Praise is powerful. Praise will get you through anything. You glorify God before the miracle happens. You praise the Lord. And so praise to the pain and then diagnosis to destiny. So my brain tumor, my health issues, it's all made me who I am today. And it's made me grateful. I'm honestly grateful. And so this is my story, my faith, how I came to know Jesus, my fitness background, how I got into it, and how it really helped save me. I think the Lord used it to help save me. It reminds me, Michelle, you said when you were hitting that axe, it was your first time to do that since your brain surgery. And yeah, we are body, mind, spirit. It's all connected. So that's what my book's about. It's on pre-order. And anybody who pre-orders it, let me know because I have a book club. And at the end of each chapter, I have little questions called reflections. And we'll go through that together. And that's where you're going to really grow your faith muscles. Jessica probably had to go be with her dad. And then also I have a TV show. That's why I was freaking out. This month has been crazy. All these things are happening and it starts Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. That's our first one. We'll be on Tuesdays 8:30 a.m. on CTN. So
Angel, you have a book and a TV show.
I know. Praise the Lord. I can't believe it. From nothing. And I have
So
all
amazing.
where's the little childhood pictures of me? I'll put them over here. I have all these little childhood pictures of me. I was like, I was born to a 17-year-old teenager and lived in a trailer. I mean, from nothing. And boy, did I break some generational curses. I'm glad we talked about that. Yes. Yes, yes, indeed. The Lord has been good to me and saved me and redeemed me and healed me and delivered me. Yeah, so much goodness in the Lord. So I'm glad and very thankful I get to be here and thankful to y'all who have trusted me and have done this. And I'm just thrilled. All right. If we don't have any more questions or anything else to say, I'll wrap it up. Are y'all done?
I will
Okay.
say one last thing. When you said something a while ago, just listen to everybody, and you were, just thankful for what has happened. What's the fruit of your hard work? And Terry Savelle, referencing her again, says, I can't remember her exact wording, but who's on the other side of you making the decision to do what God has called you to do? Because, there's somebody waiting on you to make your decision to do and act and fulfill what God has for you to do so that they can get,
Yes.
so.
Thank you.
That
I
is
feel
so
that.
good. So good.
That is so good. Yeah. And it's not just for me, it's for each of you too. What is God calling you to do? Who is waiting on you? And I felt like that when with the whole TV show thing, because when I became a Christian, I watched Christian TV all the time. And that's how I got fed. I just listened to the word. I just wanted to hear the word all the time. And now to think I'll be on the other side helping somebody else, you know, it's incredible. All right. Well, thank y'all for joining. I'm going to record this. I've got it recorded. I'm going to put it on my YouTube and on my website, and hopefully all the technology will work. All right. Love y'all.